We have the ROG Flow Z13. This is the 2002 model. This has the 12th Gen i9, the 12900H, 3050 Ti, and 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Cool stuff, right? So, this is upgradable for memory. You cannot get any additional RAM, so this is soldered. Usually happens with a lot of these form factors. I'll start off with the camera. Camera is not the greatest. It's usable. You can do a little bit of autofocus. I'll show that in a minute. And also dedicated focus by select. From there, you have two of the intake vents for the cooling system. You have two fans, one for the GPU, one for the CPU. If you do have this covered or it's obscured, it can cause airflow issues, and you'll actually get a message. Cool beans, right? Tells you don't burn up your fucking tablet. Going down, you have a nice, beautiful window. It is smudgeable if you put your hands on it or you're doing handheld stuff with this. It does light up with RGB, which you'll see in a minute. The kickstand is nice. You get a nice little rubber grip right here. There is a dead zone, so since this is magnetic down here as well, that's how it locks in. So you have a little bit of a dead zone. You really wouldn't be able to stand it up like that. It's not very stable. Then you get a nice brake and it locks in kind of. Cool thing about this is it goes all the way back, so you can have this fairly flat to the ground while it still has airflow. So if you're on a table, your lap, whatever. The hinges are pretty robust, they're nice. We have the very easily upgradable M.2 right there. You have a SD card slot right there, which is an excellent addition for add-on storage without taking this thing apart or opening your little panel right there. From there, we're going to start on the right side. We have a speaker, not the greatest speaker. You might need some tuning to get this sounding how you want it. It is still fairly quiet compared to a Surface Pro or something of that nature. If you have something cupped to the side of it, the sound irradiates much better, sounds better, but that's additional hassle. You have a 3.5mm audio jack, works great, no issues. It's nice that they added that. You have a 2.0 USB port. Don't know why they went with 2.0 at this point, but it's still really nice to have. You have a nice volume rocker. You have a nice little tactile click, works great. You have a power button that's also a fingerprint scanner that works great. I'm actually really surprised with the accuracy on it and how easy it is to set up with this system. On the left side, we have our main charging port, your Thunderbolt. You have the GX external graphics card plug right here that's proprietary for ROG. Now, cool thing about this is it does have a Thunderbolt / Type-C right there. So you can charge this, transfer data, whatever you want with either port. So you have two Type-Cs / Thunderbolt, and you have your USB port on the other side. So that's really nice to have, really nice to see. And with that, you can get the external graphics card that also act as a dock. They're kind of expensive, but it might be nice to have if this is your go-to that you're only gonna have for gaming instead of having a desktop or another laptop. Another speaker works fine, not the greatest. I've been kind of disappointed with the speakers, to be honest. I'm going to try some more tuning with it and see if I can make it better. It's quite quiet. We have the vents to let the hot air out, obviously. Doesn't actually get that hot, surprisingly. We're going to go ahead and plop the keyboard out and get the kickstand up. You do have a camera right there. The front-facing camera only goes up to 720p. It's not the prettiest camera. It works though. So if you want to do video calls, basic stuff, sure, it's fine. Comparing it to like a Surface Pro or something else, Surface Pro's camera is way better. Surface Pro 9 is excellent camera and speakers. which you'll hear me comparing them a lot because I have the Surface Pro 9 as well. This thing also smokes it in raw horsepower. This thing is a beast. So we have our lovely touchscreen. That works great. No issues. The fingerprint scanner works great. The keyboard, nice backlit keyboard. It does have it recessed inward so it's not rubbing on the screen. Good job. They're not retarded. It is connected by a connector pin on the bottom and it's magnetized. So you can either have it in a flat configuration or you can have it propped up like that. It's kind of nice to have that option. Again, that bottom portion is magnetized as well as the keyboard itself. I'll go over the connectors in a moment. So the RGB on this is decent, fully programmable. You can use Armor Crate to set it up. This has a bunch of additional stuff on it because it's from Mystical Land. So let's see here, get my fingerprint going. So fingerprint scanner does work great. Keys, it's typable. They feel decent. They have a little bit of a click to them. You have quick access to your Armor Crate right here. You have audio adjustments up there with your FM key. Profile for power, fans. You have a snip key. Change your brightness on here. External display. Turn off your touchpad. I don't know why they did it like this, but you only have a few settings. So I can either turn off the keyboard lights, cool, and I get 3 settings of brightness for this. It's not a big deal, but I could have maybe added some more settings, maybe made them a little bit brighter. The keyboard does actually feel pretty good. It's durable, it's a nice material, it's comfortable, and it does actually help keep the screen safe. Now, this is held on by pretty strong magnets. It's a connector piece I haven't had any issues with. I've had this for about 2.5 months now, messing around with it. And where I'm at is not exactly the most safe place for electronics or anything for that matter. You do have a nice little hardened rubber stop on the bottom for where it would be resting. It's hard to see at this point because I've kind of ruffled it, but you have the ROG gamerish decal crap on here that's kind of input into it, press into it. Now we have our main event here. So the speakers are decent. It actually stays pretty cool for what it is, especially how small it is. When you're playing AAA games, this actually does not get past like 80. For how small this is and the power it's packing with that i9, which is not a power efficient or heat efficient processor, this does pretty well, especially with the dedicated graphics card, that 3050 Ti. Even overclocked, does not have any issues. You cannot see it, but in manual mode you have a little bit more settings, but you can change your temperature control for whatever it is until it starts bottlenecking. You can set a really aggressive fan curve to keep this cool. Same with the GPU. You can overclock the GPU through here as well. It's really nice, easy, silent, minimizes your fan noise and your fan RPM. You actually get a nice fan speed bar right here. This will tell you what your RPM and how much noise that fan is producing. So right now it's saying it's producing 23 decibels. Cool beans, right? You have Windows key, boot up sound, and your panel power saver, which switches from 120 hertz on this display to 60. touchscreen is pretty nice actually. It's reactive, it works well. Scroll up and down, so it supports the 2-finger touch and whatnot. For other settings, you can also set up special crap for if you want to open something up a certain way. So it's kind of nice. Cameras, not the greatest. So let's say camera. Here's the front-facing camera. Super awesome, right? It's not actually that good. The rear camera is a little bit better. A little bit more focus control. It's hard to tell, obviously, it's a video on a video. But it only goes up to 60 hertz for refresh rate on that camera, on top of 720p. It can take alright pictures if you're having perfect lighting. The darker it is, the worse it gets, obviously. It's not the greatest camera. It's not what this device is made for. It's made for gaming, which it performs great in. So I've been able to play most of my games 60 to 100 to 200 FPS, depending what you're playing. If you're playing older AAA titles or newer ones. Newer ones you can get up to 60, 70. It really depends on the game and what settings you have on there, obviously. So this is 1920 by 1200 display, 120 hertz or 60 hertz. So it is kind of nice in that manner. You get a high refresh monitor. It's about 450 nits. Yeah, it's right about 450 with testing. You can calibrate everything on here, which is really nice. So you can get a calibrator on here through the Armor Crate. For color calibration, so you can have your calibration device and it will calibrate it for you. Kind of nice. You do have your normal settings, change your color temperature, so on and so forth. Game library, preset profiles. You can customize all your RGB on here. You can put the nice ROG desktop displays that have all the moving shit. Looks cool, I guess. GPU power saving shows you what you have running, what's not running. You can change your RGB to the rear and to your keyboard on here as well. So I can make that one select color, I can have it do strobe, a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of nice in that way. Let's see, I'll go ahead and show off the keyboard and audio. So this is going to be Knife Party Power Glove. The audio is not horrible, it's not great. Then if you have something cupping it or close to it, it helps with the sound quality. You can tune this to make it sound much better, but it's a pain in the butt. It's not as loud as those devices. So that's one of the cool key points. When you have it flat down like the low setting for that kickstand, it's actually pretty comfortable. Yeah, it's comfortable, it works well. No issues with the touchpad. Yeah, she's about to die. Battery life on here is not the greatest. If you want this for super traveler greatness where you don't have to plug it in, good luck. It's not made for that. It has a powerhouse inside that uses a lot of battery. Now for a on the road gaming device that's small, that's more powerful than like a Steam Deck or you just want the bigger screen, or you want to use it for more admin purposes, it's excellent for that, especially with the 2 Thunderbolt ports and that USB port. It's great for admin tasks. I use it for a lot of my military classes and work. It's convenient, small, it's fairly light for what it is, and you can game on it. So hook up your external keyboard, mouse, whatever you want, controller. It works great, no issues. So this is my initial review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys got further questions, you guys want to see some good data on how well it performs in games, FPS, benchmarks, so on and so forth, let me know, and I will get that set up for you guys. That's about it. Have a good one.